Hi, I'm Eric Butts.
I'm Jim Butts.
And we are at the Suicide Fantasy Football headquarters talking trash mostly to each other about what we think is going to happen this year in the NFL. Jim, what we want to talk about right now is who you think the top quarterback is in fantasy football 2011-2012 season.
To me, it's a 1A and 1B thing. If you put a gun to my head, I'm going like Vick. He's got another year in the system. He brings so much to the game, running, passing, all the different facets of his game. I think he's going to have an explosive year, especially if they sign Plaxico Barris. He dumps off to McCoy. Macklin and D-Jack are another year in the system. I think he is ready for a breakout season. My B, of course, is Aaron Rodgers. Got incredible receivers. He's also going to have Jermichael Finley back for the whole year. I'm a little worried about the Super Bowl hangover, but I think those are my top two.
All right, I don't really disagree with your top two. Vick and Rodgers are definite studs, although I wouldn't put Vick as the number one guy. I'm actually putting Drew Brees as my number one. Vick is my number two, and Aaron Rodgers is my number three.
What about that bum Philip Rivers that I know you love so much, who ain't never done nothing?
I do have a little man crush for Philip Rivers, but I'm not putting him as my number one guy. Don't get me wrong. The value of where you get Philip Rivers compared to where you have to pick Michael Vick or Aaron Rodgers, he may be my quarterback, but when you're saying who's the best, I don't put Philip Rivers in that category. He's the second tier. So I'm going Drew Brees just because, listen, he is a dynamite quarterback, puts up consistent big numbers, didn't have as big of a year last year as he had the year before, but I think he's a 4,000-yard season guy, and that's the guy who I want as my quarterback.
Even with Mark Ingram there, about to run the ball a little bit, they're going to take a lot of throws away from, I think.
Listen, now why do you say that, Jim? Because wouldn't Mark Ingram there just open up a little bit more for Brees to be able to find Colston downfield?
I don't think so because they throw the ball so much to start with. It's not like when you're talking Matt Schaub with Arian Foster and that. They take it away. The Saints are going to throw the ball regardless. So it's not like they're looking to open something up. He's going to throw the ball 50 times.
Yes.
It's not like, oh, this guy's going to open it up for him. I think it's more along the lines of now when they get down closer to the goal line, they have a running option to score rather than throwing to the tight end or throwing short passes to the running back.
So it may take away a couple of Drew Brees' touchdowns. Because I hear what you're saying. In the red zone, they may run it a little bit more than throw it. But he's still going to put up 4,000 yards, and maybe that frees up some longer bombs with play action and actually having to consider that they may run the ball, and I still think it doesn't hurt his fantasy points.
And I doubt New Orleans wide receivers' health. They're always all banged up.
But they've got so many of them, it doesn't matter. He's so good, like Peyton Manning. Throw a guy in you've never heard of, and he still ends up being a decent fantasy.
I'm not saying he's bad. I just wouldn't put him in my top 3 or 4.
All right, well, we disagree as usual because I'm usually right and Jim always thinks he is. But you'll have to follow us a little bit more on Suicide Fantasy Football. What do you mean, last year or ever?
That I wasn't on your team with?
Multiple.
That I wasn't on your team with?
Multiple.
Right.
In my mind.
Yeah. Good.
I've come in second a very lot of times, Jim, and you know the bad luck that comes to butts and butts when we play fantasy football. Don't try and act like you're the genius. All right, listen, tell us what you think. Go to suicidefantasyfootball.com, follow our blogs, check us out on Facebook, give us your opinion of who you think the number one quarterback is this year in fantasy football.